they're okay for the rest of the series, but it's sort of the, I guess, the tastemaker.
The tastemaker.
The tastemaker.
This is now in our vocabulary and then some, but yeah, okay with it. But as we get started out here, you know, shout-outs, by the way, we're talking about Clone Man. Can't forget Mama Clone, as it were.
No, can't forget Mama Clone at all. I thought Clone Man was like a better saying. I thought it was the better term.
Yeah.
But
Clone Mom does make more sense, but she's already chosen her handle.
She's chosen Mama Clone.
We have to respect what has been chosen. But we're going to get into it here. Skyfoxes in Phase 2. 3-3 for Phase 2. 3-3 for Skyfoxes.
The duplicate is on that Winston, so it is not quite a perfect mirror because Clone Man's on Ryan. So Skyfoxes are going to be looking at control point, maybe rotate to the high ground when possible. And Phase 2 are just looking to set up their engage, try to get that cleave damage, try to get that primal early for duplicate.
Yeah, it comes down to how much duplicate can get when moving in here and looking to build primal. You're trying to look for at least 30% per go, and duplicate almost getting picked off, still under really heavy pressure. Armor Pack going to go on to him towards the end, but Skyfox is just in hot pursuit. They end up taking down Olu, and I mean, that's what happens when duplicate gets forced out so early.
That was the Skyfox recognizing that as soon as duplicate uses that jump and Olu had dropped the health, they can isolate Olu. The rest of Phase 2 was not there on the ground. There was no one there to peel. So that was an easy pickoff for Skyfoxes, an easy first fight. So now controlling mid, also very, very ahead in the ult ad.
Yeah, Skyfoxes, I mean, they've played the Rhine 3-3 pretty well here. In Phase 2, they don't even want to mess with the Winston 3-3 anymore, especially because it is harder to retake with it.
Yeah, I think winning first fight is where you probably stay with the Winston for a while, and then you make the swap. But after losing, you definitely just make the swap for Ryan. It's a little bit easier, more straightforward.
So Phase 2 right now, just looking for an opening. They'll be moving forward from Clement. Clement getting the early bubble. It absolutely can. Skyfox is super early Transcend here. Last row was able to build up Transcend early last fight. It means that they haven't just rolled into Phase 2. But the problem is, there's no problem. They get duplicate in the end. They're able to get him towards the very last part of it. And they even force out the Transcend from Nishik, who was trying to save duplicate. So that's an okay fight for Skyfox.
Very good move there from Mac as well, getting duplicate out into the traffic. So now the cleanup is coming out for Skyfox as they chase. The traffic, the cars, getting some more casualties there.
It never ceases to amuse me how a Korean war mech of the future loses to what is presumably just the standard economy car.
Well, I mean, if you actually look at the sizes, though, there's still basic physics at play. The mech isn't that big, so getting hit with a car pretty fast, I feel, would still do a significant amount of damage. So now Skyfox is still holding on to the point, still at a very equal hold position here.
They're going to be walking straight in. Bugs Graviton here. Phase just looking to casually put the self-destruct in the back. 2 down off the Graviton, and Skyfox is in very firm control right now. These fights early on, Phase 2 gets outpoked, they get outpositioned, and it's been really hard for them to get anything going.
And they haven't got any value from their ults either. Skyfox is getting the much better grab fight right there, utilizing the bomb, still holding the point. They're still going to have 4 ults. Phase 2, almost nothing they're making comparatively. It's going to be the beat Shatter that's up soon.
You know, for Skyfox, I think this is where if you're Clone Man, you do your best bumper impression. You just walk in and lay down the Shatter, and already you'll be demecking Pika. Nothing really to stop Clone Man dropping the hammer the other way. And I mean, for Phase 2, they were under pressure, right? They had the touch point, and they just couldn't do so in a way to make it a compelling team fight. Skyfox is 99-0, very dominant here.
Yeah,
so
under pressure and having to walk to the rally from Korzik, which just gives Skyfoxes that extra initiation power. And when you look at that entirety of that first round for Oasis, it's just Skyfoxes win first point, get that early pickoff after the damage from the duplicate, and then force the swap and just out-focus fire the entirety rest of the time. Get more value from ults. There isn't like a significant, you know, I wouldn't look at any one player and be like, well, this player is outperforming, or, you know, the entirety is just, or they made a crazy play. It's rather just Skyfoxes as a unit are just getting way, way more value.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of it, I think, for the last fight had to do, they do lose first fight in City Center, which is big enough blow as is, but, you know, you try and run the Winston, and they're just sloppy on the execution there.
Sloppy.
Duplicate just didn't really get good value off of it, and then the one time he retreats, what happens? Skyfoxes, they chase down, and they pick off Olu. So we'll see if things go the same here in University, where it is going to be a little bit more even in the start. Ryan v. Ryan.
Ryan v. Ryan here on University. Both teams rolling out. Good to watch. These Zarya bubbles going to be so important.
Oh,
That's
duplicate. He was almost in the pit. He has to juggle himself to stay alive and on top, but instead he just dies. Pick your poison.
And that's just the power of the Boop. That is, once again, just, we've seen Lucio's over and over and over again in 3-3 setups, how important it is to get a great displacement, especially if you can move like a Reinhardt into the majority of your team. And that's exactly what happened there with Mac, just getting duplicate into a worse position So phase 2 now losing the first fight off of that boot from Mac, just getting the bubble out, getting people get a bad spot.
See if phase 2 can rally back over here in a moment. Bubble going to be used real early here.
Look at Mac. Look at how aggressive he is and not getting punished.
Yeah, he's just in the back there and they're just ignoring him. The Mac is not priority, but the boops have been really big, and Duplicate under heavy pressure trying to get Coleman. Coleman under the same. And it's actually going to work out for phase 2. Now they're going to rally, try and keep everyone else alive. Pika pretty low here on it. Still going to be fine as Olu does quite well for himself.
Yeah, Olu pops that aggressive rally, gets it before Horthic. Just gives all that value to the front line, enables himself to be aggressive. Because when Coleman's down, the rallying Brigida, especially when there are no ults out on the field, becomes a lot scarier.
So Skyfoxes start up with 30% now to 10 on phase 2. Phase 2, I mean, key here for Onyx, he needs to get Grav up before things really get hot and heavy.
See Skyfoxes entering here. They do have the combo. Phase 2, no combo of their own just yet. So Skyfoxes, and there it is. Once again, the boop. That's so huge. They have the point control. They can look to set up their combo here. Faz so low.
And Faz gets taken down. Faz was a little bit far forward, but that was because he was expecting Duplicate to be on the top floor. Doesn't end up being the case. Now, phase 2, they grab. They try and make it even. Onyx, it's a pretty decent grab at that. Skyfoxes, though, a counter grab of their own. They want to scrap here.
Phase cap. They're not going to cap.
Oh, no.
What are they doing? This is such a disaster overall for Skyfoxes. This seems like they actually had the great counter grab. They could have flipped the point. They were afraid of the spawns, I think, for the flip, but now they have to come back in. They didn't flip at all. They've invested their grab.
It's definitely a mistake. Shield going to be used here early in Duplicate. Oh, Olu is down. Skyfoxes, the counter dive coming out very quickly there, and phase 2 just too weakened.
And yeah, this will still be the cap in the end for Skyfoxes, but look at the time that phase 2 is buying. Onyx invested the grab earlier in the fight, 73% to another. The time bank's still going up. You know, I think it was maybe a measured play for Skyfoxes there to not get the cap so they didn't have the spawn disadvantage. But at the same time, there's so much time back that they lost, and they invested their ults.
It was about a 40% time bank swing, where phase 2, you know, you think about they got at least 20% that they probably shouldn't have had there, and Skyfoxes, they don't have 20% that they would have had. So it is a pretty big change on the game. And now Max says, let's go. It's going to be a more aggressive beat, forcing a beat from the other side. And Skyfoxes might have gone too deep here. They lose one immediately, and phase 2 just get trimmed to the graviton.
Yeah, that was a great counter grab, the great disengage from phase 2, picking up Clone Man. And I think that what we're watching right now, Onyx, who's been a Zarya player that has had very, very often on moments for phase 2 throughout all Contenders, including last season. He's actually having a great game right now.
Fully agreed. I mean, we've been pretty harsh on Onyx over time where, you know, I would argue it's been a bit of a struggle for him, but this has been the best we've seen look in quite a while. Phase 2, looking right here to Skyfoxes. Skyfoxes super early transcendence here. I think part of it is that they know that Graviton isn't coming anytime soon, and, oh, Clone-Man knocks 3 down in the back. That's good enough for Skyfoxes to roll back over to
I actually think that's the best thing to happen to phase 2 there, because Pika 8 grab. If you didn't see, Pika 8 grab. So now Skyfoxes, there's no grab on the field. They will have the bomb, but Skyfoxes had to invest all their other ults, and phase 2 are coming back in with the trance, with a bomb of their own. They can look to be extremely aggressive here and not worry about the grab.
Yeah, I mean, on the other end here, you look at Skyfoxes, they're completely drained as they're going into this fight. This is phase 2's opportunity to push this to a round 3. We'll see if they're going to be able to execute.
They just need to go with their trance. They just need to take the fight with the trance. The bomb is out, trying to isolate.
Oh, came close to getting Horthic. He's able to look up in time. Shield got blocking. Clone-Man really low here. And even though phase 2 is an opportunity, they're letting Skyfoxes regroup. They're letting them resettle. They're going to have ults coming up here soon. Phase 2, now they're going to use the Transcendence and move forward. They get Clone-Man. Highly important that they got him off the rotation. Man advantage going in last row. Not going to Transcend the other day. Duplicate going to fall. And phase 2, I think they might have waited a little bit too long here.
But the grab is out. Last row, no Transcendence. They get him. They're going to get Mac very soon. No, Mac will live, but it's fine. They're controlling the point right now. The grab catches no one from Buds.
The grab completely beefed by Buds there. Doesn't get what he's looking for in the least. But the beats get coming here from Skyfoxes. Fight not over yet. Clone-Man going to drop the shatter. Gets no one. Blocked by the bubble. On the other side, Skyfoxes on the brink. Faz coming in over the top. Just absolutely obliterates Clone-Man's eardrums as phase 2 comes back in. And they retake the point.
And that was just an incredible misplay from Skyfoxes earlier, where they invest their ults and don't get the flip. Come back in and eventually get it, but they lose so much time bank, invested so many ults throughout the fight. Onyx having some good grabs there. So, and also Pika, I think what was clutch to talk about. We did touch about that late grab from Pika in the fight previous was very, very important. But just that, I think that one misplay right there of Skyfox investing ults and not getting the flip, stepping off the point, just waiting for their spawns was really the hugest factor.
Well, I mean, there is kind of a saying within the Tier 2 community when it comes to Buds is that Buds, when he's on, is one of the scariest players in the game, but you don't always have to fight good Buds. And I have to say, Buds towards the end there, that was a rough showing of Zarya, where one grab eaten, the other grab thrown into nothing. And I think it probably was the difference maker there for Skyfoxes.
That's a really long saying.
Okay, well, I just went on to another point there. No, I don't think Skyfoxes plays into it really at all towards the left.
So now phase 2 rolling out here on the mirror matchup. Again, Skyfoxes, they're controlling the high ground right now. Phase 2 playing on low ground as Skyfoxes come out for the engage.
Skyfoxes taking the fight here with phase 2. Right now, even on both sides going to lose Orion early on. But phase 2 actually dealing the dive pretty well. They get more damage done off, and Skyfoxes having to back off just a bit. And this is looking like phase 2 should be able to get first control. Skyfoxes in a bit of a bind.
Especially once Matt goes down here very late. I mean, Lasher's down as well. Olu getting both those frags, Buds getting caught. And now it's going to be phase 2 getting the flip.
Unexpected here, given what we thought would happen going in. Skyfoxes.
It's upset week, baby. It's upset week.
Very well could be. And I mean, this would be big for phase 2, and we're talking about the playoff implications. If you're XL2, you're screaming at the screen for Skyfoxes to get together.
So now Skyfoxes move back in here for the recontest. They do have that Shatter up. Olu popping the rally. Coleman drop Shatter, gets nothing. And this is over. The fight's done.
Well, also, Mac got punished there. Mac was trying to do his usual go in aggro, look for boops, and it was just completely shut down by Nishik. So phase 2, being more aggro, taking the fight to Skyfoxes, and as a result, it's 33-0 in their favor.
And that's a great trade for phase 2. Using Rally to get the Shadow out and win the fight. They've built up the rest of their ult bank here. They can look to not only get their combo up, Onyx will have that combo. Max still doesn't have beat. So it's better for phase 2 in that setup. But they have the double support ult to survive the counter combo of Skyfoxes.
So phase 2, see what Onyx is setting up here now. Bud's about to have grab himself, but it's been a slow building grab, really for both sides. And grab's eaten! Onyx's grab gobbled on up by FaZe. This is gonna be an excellent opportunity now for Buds to flip the momentum. Rallies out.
The Shatter though!
Connects. The Shatter though sets a peek on the other side. Phase 2 gonna take the fight, and the grab in the end, absolutely meaningless.
And disaster. Actual disaster from Skyfoxes where they eat the grab, Buds invests his own, but they can't follow up because Duplicate shatters while the bomb is out. So now phase 2 have not only held on to the point, they've removed the grab from the fight. And they're in an okay position. They're in a pretty good position. Really, those Skyfoxes with their double support ults with the Diva Bomb, this should be their fight to win. There's nothing in phase 2's bank.
I mean, one would think here, but, you know, looking at Nishik, he's able to get an early pick-off on the Mac again. Could still make it winnable. Skyfox is going to move in. Early bomb thrown out here. And they have to use the Transcendence early, but it still works out. The bomb picks off 2. It is somewhat of a higher price here for Skyfoxes, but it's a very decisive fight. But now the problem for them, they have to hold all the way up to 100. They cannot let control the point go back the other way.
And really the time bomb, the ticking time bomb here is going to be phase 2's combo. Phase 2's combo, especially if they can get beat out from Mac, will be very, very effective here. Skyfox is not that close to their combo of their own, and phase 2 have a lot of time.
Yeah, I mean, right now, this is where FaZe, you know, he's already eaten one grab this round. He's going to have to go to the well again. He's going to have to completely deny Onyx, or the odds that Skyfox can hold on here, pretty low indeed.
See now, phase 2 entering through the point, getting that pressure. They're trying to look for the engage. There's the beat out very early from Skyfoxes.
It's a super early beat, but they do commit on it. They get Olu right after, they get Nishik, and it's a super aggressive dive from Skyfoxes that does get what they're looking for. Now,
and that's what phase 2 wanted, though.
Exactly.
That's exactly what phase 2 wanted. I talked about it previously, is that the beat's gone, so your combo becomes a lot more deadly.
I mean, for now, Onyx and Pika have essentially the dream setup, and it's just a matter of can they connect on it. If you're Skyfoxes, you need to be split a bit here.
Skyfoxes need to be playing split. FaZe, if he gets to eat, will be the hero. So here comes the entry for phase 2, looking to set up their combo. They do have it. Nishik also holding on the Transcendence.
Onyx right now, holding back on the setup. His grab, the absolute most important thing for phase 2. Duplicate under a lot of pressure here. Gang displays. Is he going to fall? He does. Skyfoxes able to apply enough pressure. Now phase 2 having to back out, and this gives Skyfoxes more time to build up ult responses to phase 2.
It is giving them time, but phase 2 are still in an okay spot. They're coming into this next fight with 6 ults. There's no rally for Skyfoxes. They still don't have beat. Mac does not have beat. So if Baz can get the beat, survive the combo, even if they trade, they're still in a better spot because the beat should be too long.
Your Buds are looking to strike first in the situation. Oh, Buds grab his heat, and once more, the Graviton doing nothing. Onyx on the other side. Graviton was used. Olu gonna fall. The counterbomb from FaZe keeps FaZe 2 at bay. Pit goes for the Shatter, doesn't get much. Clone the Shatter the other way, Evie knocking down Pika, and this is looking better and better for the Skyfoxes right now.
And this is just a cleanup here. FaZe, though, getting the picks. Skyfoxes, their focus fire so strong, they're cleaning up on the point. Despite the gravity, despite the combo, they could not clean up.
FaZe 2 had such a good opportunity, and they let it just slip away from them here. Skyfoxes, and as you say, not even playing optimally at points. I mean, that was an incredibly tough series for Buds, and they still play their way out of it.
So now that is going to be Skyfoxes taking the first map of the series, 1-0. And you know, I talked about it earlier, how Control was obviously where FaZe 2 wants to get the first win. No. They need to set the pace of the match. I feel like that was going to be Skyfox's probably strongest game type against them. And they've lost, but they put up a good performance. So it gives hope for FaZe 2 as we move it through the rest of the series. But it's incredible considering the advantages they had that last fight, Buds' grab being gone, and they just could not clean up the frags. FaZe still continued to be a hero. He was a fragger. We need to be getting great bombs, so.
Yeah, I mean, really both divas having really good moments there, but now the problem is for FaZe 2 is that you're in the classic Fusion University complex, right? Mm-hmm. Where now you have to either win the next 3 straight, or you have to go in and beat the Skyfoxes on Control for map 5, where admittedly, they probably should have had this one for Control, but also Skyfoxes, they looked rough in ways that I don't know if they're going to look as we get later into the night and we get to a map 5 and people get a chance to get warmed up because, you know, even though Buds has his ups and downs, usually he'll be able to play through it as the night goes on. So, I mean, I do think this is something where a golden opportunity just kind of slipped by FaZe 2. Yeah,
definitely a golden opportunity that has slipped through their fingers there. And they're going to have to just make sure if you get advantages, which they were consistently getting advantages, they just need to get the value out of them. And that's the definition of just an anti-clutch team. You know, you have your clutch team where you have no advantages and you win despite that. And then you have your anti-clutch where you have all the advantages and you lose despite that.
Well, yeah, think about situations where Fusion University about to lose on King's Row the other broadcast day, and what happens is like, Bernard, we need you to land a perfect bomb to go in with our dive. No problem. Here, you have multiple fights to land a grav combo, and you just can't find it. And you let the other team back into the game. And unfortunately for FaZe 2, it does cost them the map. But now, we're going to be moving forward. It's like involved. That's map 2 for us here tonight on the hybrid game type. And we'll see if FaZe 2 can bottle up what was good on the previous map and put it back here to work as we move to this very old castle.
Is it actually, I mean, how old is the castle?
I mean, it's old enough that it's in disrepair.
Do you know? I mean, things can be relatively new and be disrepair, though.
That is true.
Get logic.
You know, right now, I wasn't expecting, I was not expecting the lore interrogation
I don't know. I mean, myself, I don't really know the lore. So well, I was asking you, you know, you're good at explaining lore.
I mean, I'll be honest, is that I'm kind of assuming that the castle is old. I mean, seemingly the last time it was in use was when Reinhardt was young, when he had beautiful flowing hair. You know, it's not the case anymore. So presumably, I mean, it's got to be at least 40 years old. Is my guess.
Well, looking forward, FaZe 2 is going to be on this offense. Looking like they're going to be running the standard 3-3 for the offense here. Skyfoxes, I mean, you've seen this happen before, but with FaZe on Zarya, it's unlikely that Skyfoxes is making the swap off of the Sombra defense. We see sometimes where the Diva player will sit and spawn and look to get the scout on Sombra, then come back with the translocate and swap. But if FaZe is on the Zarya, that means Buds won't be playing it.
Very likely.
So Skyfox is on the Sombra.
Yeah. And also, I mean, for Buds, he clearly was having issues playing Zarya in the last map. I think him playing Sombra in general probably a better look for him, given what we've seen from the season so far.
Lasher also on the Ana. Really the signature hero for Lasher, more so than anything else.
I like FaZe 2's aggression here, where they're going straight to point. They get Clone Man. They haven't given Buds any time to set up an EMP. They just went directly to point. And it seems like it's going to pay off for them, where even though Pika's getting demeched, being down Ryan for Skyfoxes right now is such a huge liability. Mac nowhere to go, and this could be a very quick point at cap for FaZe 2.
They control the point entirely. Mac is down. Bud's very hurt, trying to get out via translocator. Wants to be able to do so, but the point, it's flipped already.
Yeah, and even though Buds is able to build up a decent amount towards an EMP right now, now they don't get to use it on point A. And they're going to be looking to just sort of stall things out here for a while at the beats point B.
And phase 2, if anything, should know they have the rally advantage here. So they can just take a very early rally fight, mitigate the Sombra engage, and just try to get an early pick.
See if that's what they do. Skyfoxes, they are holding where they should here, pretty far up. Blood's getting very close to EMP, but phase 2, they initially just heavily dive in off the fight. Cloman, though, on the other side, nano boost, lane control near the payload, just puts on too much damage there.
And it's the nano onto Cloman, just able to mitigate not only the pressure from the rally, but just so much damage onto the front line. Winning that fight with only the nano boost is really the best possible this year.
Such a
Skyfoxes, and then we're seeing the stagger here on the Pika too.
Cloman knows we were watching him. He knew.
He knew. And now Skyfoxes still have EMP. They didn't have to commit it.
This is turned around very much in Skyfox's favor, where even though they gave up point A rather quickly, this is going to be a hard break here for phase 2, where they're looking at losing the next fight to EMP outright, and Skyfox is still having economy to take the next 2 fights after that.
But something to watch is that Nishik does have the transcendence. 5-man EMP, but not catching Nishik.
But the questionable thing about this EMP here, where even if they're getting a duplicate, Skyfoxes wasn't ready to immediately dive in on it. It's a 5-man EMP, and yes, it does work out, but there's a lot of situations where that doesn't work out. Now, the upside there as well is that Nishik transcends. So, I mean, in the end, it's very good for Skyfoxes, but it felt a little early.
It felt early, but I think when you're that close to the corner and there's no barriers with a 5-man EMP, Lessard was able to nade, getting one frag means the end of it. There's the grab out onto Cloman. Can they clean him up?
Shield comes on to Cloman, and yeah, they are going to get towards the very end. Counter grab out here, though, from the Skyfoxes, and they have way more power going into it. There's no transcendence in response because Nishik used it for the EMP on the last fight. So Skyfox is still maintaining momentum very well here.
Which I find odd, and also something to note is that the beat build here for Faz has been very, very, very good. If there is a beat alive, I think phase 2 will do that grab to see Cloman's death. But when there's no beat yet, they were able to just commit to the fight, commit to the swing damage, especially when Lessard gets to sleep on Pika.
Looks like the start going to be coming out here from Pika, trying to force some disruption. Skyfoxes going to answer a turn, shatter, beat, and Cloman off that. Going to be finding duplicate directly in, and Skyfoxes, there's no backpedal here. They're going directly to spawn.
They're chasing, and not only that, they're sleeping Pika, getting the late frag onto Pika. We've talked about it before, but Lastro's Ana is very, very good.
His Zen is good. His Ana is fantastic.
Yeah, his Ana is next level.
Yeah, his Ana is absolutely his best hero, and something that on the Ana at the very least, it's definitely OWL caliber. Meanwhile, Yeppa setting up here for the EMP, and again goes for it very early. Skyfox is diving in after it, but this time Skyfox is there closer. It was much better coordination and dive coming in for the EMP. They're just able to take it once more.
And they make it work so well every time. Even if without great coordination, if you're just able to catch the Reinhardt and the Zarya every single time despite the Transcendence, it's a free ante. It's a free ante every time from Lastro. And they're catching duplicate because of it. So I think phase 2 need to start thinking about that. And thinking about, well, maybe we need to be hiding our Zarya as well so we can cleanse ante. You need to be hiding your Zarya to cleanse ante.
Well, they're diving on Cloman, but what they don't know is that the Nano's in reserve, so Cloman wanted to take that amount of damage early on. Nano, gonna keep him
and the late beat from Faz. Where did the beat go for Faz? He drops it for the engage, but phase 2 run away. There is no engage.
Yeah, that is really rough coordination. There's Cloman dropping the hammer on the other side. He's back, though, as they try and dive in. The fall through actually not there, even though Cloman got a few on the ground. Now Cloman can't charge out. His Faz ends up picking up 2. Very weird how that worked out for Skyfox.
Really weird, I think. Just that, I mean, and that's the power of having. There's actually no Zen on the field for either team. Nishik making the swap onto Ana as well, which I think is a smart swap if you're not able to keep your team alive. You're not able to keep them alive using consistent trances. Get that disco focus fire. You might as well play the Ana where you're more sustaining. You have tools and EMP fights, especially when you on the field.
Well, it's going to be an early grab assault here by phase 2. They try and move Cloman out of the fight early. Bubble's going to make him pretty reasonably healthy. Buzz at the counter, EMP, duplicate out of the fight. And Skyfox's Cloman somehow gets away, booped off, ends up charging into the hole down there, and Skyfox is totally okay.
Yeah, the fight, there's still phase 2 on the point, but they have to back up. There's just not enough people here alive. Last row also back onto the Zenyatta.
They need to back up a lot earlier there, and that was a very good fight for Lastro. He swapped in the beginning of it. Are they trying to just into this? Is this Pika?
They are, but it's not going to work. But I think that was some good cap time for Pika. A smart move. And also smart swap from Skyfox. We talked about how Lastro made the swap. Because when Phase 2 were on Ana, they're not running a Sombra of their own. Objectively, the Skyfox's comp is just better.
Now Skyfoxes with that comp, Transcendent's going to be up Phase 2, down to the final fight. Only 20 seconds left, so they don't even have a whole lot of time to rotate on over. Looks like they were going to try Castle Side, now they're going to go high ground, wrap around. Final fight going to be on the way.
Final fight, and something to note is that FaZe has the grab, Faz no beat. There is no defensive ult alive, and Nishik is hacked.
Nishik hacked early here, FaZe holding on to the grab, going to use it. They use it just to remove Faz from the fight immediately. Duplicate gets caught up in it. Transcend's out here for Skyfoxes, EMP up, everyone getting hit from Phase 2. There remains on the battlefield in Lastro. They're on the cleanup. Still being fought here by Phase 2. Skyfox investing the beat for the final 4 left here on the point. Phase 2 still has the possibility of bringing this back. Pika holding on to self-destruct. They have to stay on point. Mac notices it, gets over there just in the nick of time, but here comes Bomb up and over. And Phase 2 starting to bully Skyfoxes away. Even the Skyfoxes struggle to get back in.
And Faz is back. He's able to drop the beat. Another anti out onto Mac. Nishik has been sitting on bridge alone. He's finally picked off, but they never punished him. The healing, the sustain, so important from Nishik.
So Phase 2, they buy themselves another minute 30 here. The doors of the castle can be broken down. But
and that looked to be a really good fight for Skyfoxes. They removed Faz so early, but they just slowly but surely lose the cleanup point. They just could not remove Nishik.
I think part of it is too is that they weren't able to get duplicate fast or down fast enough as well. I mean, getting one down early is useful, but it's good if you can get two. Now Skyfox is going to take the initiative here, early rally, early pick off on the duplicate, and that pretty much seals the fight. The rest of Skyfox is still totally healthy. Clo-Man, sure, under shield pressure, but there's not enough to actually finish him off.
So Rally invested there for Skyfoxes. And in Phase 2, they're moving into this next fight. They don't have a lot of ult on them, especially none of their big ults like the combo. Skyfoxes is holding on to both the grab and the EMP here. And they don't need to invest in EMP. I think they just invest grab only, clean up the fight, recognizing that Phase 2 did not have ults. They do not have defensive ults.
Honestly, if I'm Skyfoxes here as well, I consider holding further back. You don't have to be aggressive in taking this fight. If you delay the initiation of this fight, you can make it the last fight.
True, and also if it depends on where they want to engage here, because they want to catch them with the choke.
Well, they use the early grab, they follow your advice, they get too often immediately. Buds hasn't had to use the EMP. Clo-Man drops the Shatter Lane to fight it. Phase 2, too many down too early, and more importantly, the fight takes place late enough that is going to be the final fight here. Phase 2 should not be able to delay or get into a mode where respawns can come back in. It is going to stop right here at the beginning of point C.
EMP out, clean up the remaining frags. Lastro fragging out. So that is going to be Skyfoxes holding Phase 2 a little bit past the doors of the second, but it was a miracle for Phase 2 to even get the cap on second. That was an incredible OT push from them.
Don't forget, too, I mean, to me, the biggest storyline in all this is what a ridiculous point B defense it was from Skyfoxes, because Skyfoxes did nothing on point A. They ran the Sombra defense, and Phase 2 just ran at them. And they didn't have a good response. They weren't able to delay for Buds to get EMP, so they lose point A essentially for free. And then Skyfoxes is able to get into a really good rotation of ult economy on point B and essentially drain the entire time bank and almost stop it on point B entirely.
Very, very good hold there for Skyfoxes. Now Phase 2 going to be on the defense. Skyfoxes on the offense here. And Skyfoxes have their win condition. Just have to get it, a little bit past through the doors a second. Phase 2 looking to stop them. I wouldn't be surprised to see Skyfoxes run the Sombra here again because, I mean, Bud's maybe feeling more comfortable on it. Right now, it doesn't look to be that way, but don't trust the spawns. Never trust the spawns.
The spawns are always lying to you. And really for Skyfoxes, given that they don't have to win that many fights, it will be a little bit surprising if they come out here with Buds on the Zarya. Also, I mean, for point A, even though you likely have to swap later, I still think DPS openings on point A can be pretty good. If you know that you're going to be going up against a 3-3 where, you look at how Phase 2 is played, it's a safe assumption.
It is a safe assumption, but it's also just how comfortable you are with running that composition. But it looks like Skyfoxes are going to be perfectly fine running the 3-3 into the 3-3 here. Going to be the mirror matchup. Ryan's on both sides. So when we watch this first engagement, it's really a battle of seeing the cooldowns, watching the Zarya bubbles, and how does the health come down.
On Phase 2, they're definitely hoping to win the first engagement here, get a foothold. Right now, we see Skyfox not wasting a whole lot of time, not really taking a long way around, just pretty much directly going at phase 2 here. They're going to go off to the left, and this is going to be the rotation directly on the point.
This rotation directly on the point. Bubble used, Bubble's traded, and for the Discord, it's on to Duplicate. A lot of damage.
Duplicate is under a very heavy pressure, and he's going to fall. Skyfoxes, excellent focus fire there, a good rotation to set it up. This should be point A for them, and this is pretty much the worst timeline for phase 2.
I mean, just an equally as fast cap there from Skyfoxes compared to phase 2 for both offenses for point A. Though it is something to note that since they're running the mirror matchup, it changes the dynamic here as we move to point B, because there is no clear win condition for phase 2 right now, nor is there one really for Skyfoxes.
No, though I'd say for Skyfoxes, they're okay with that, given that, you know, they just won the early fight without a whole lot of ults in their favor. If they're able to win the next one, it's going to be even better. Phase 2, needing to just get the better of the very early engage here.
Phase 2 dropping down here to fight at the choke. You see Mac and FaZe, they're hiding behind them. They're looking for boops, looking for eats.
Well, they got the boop on the Duplicate. He ends up in the middle of everyone and just gets annihilated. Everyone turns on Duplicate. They take him out of the fight super early. And now for phase 2, they have nothing they can do but just die on cards and hope to try again.
Though trading rallies there for the time, I think they can be okay with that. It's going to be a 5 ult versus almost a 5 ult, really. I guess Duplicate not that close to the Shatter, but Faz coming up in the beat, two comes the bomb. So both combos are available. Double support ults are available for both teams. You see Skyfox is holding here on the castle side, on this top side. They want to set up the game.
Star's not going to be used here early. Bomb up to the sky. Phase 2, will they be able to get away from it? They do mitigate quite a bit. Now they go back the other way. They force out the beat from Skyfoxes. Phase 2, attempting to find it in. Now they lost Pika pretty early in the fight, but there's the Shatter. In from Duplicate. Evens things up to a degree, but Clone Man gets more from the exchange in the beginning, but actually, it ends up being pretty much everyone on both teams down.
Duplicate Shatter was so good. Duplicate Shatter, the counter Shatter there, the health advantage for phase 2 was so strong. He's still fighting with Horthic. You have to be careful. Horthic, he's got the rally. He has a lot of sustain. He's going to be forced to back up now that Faz reconnects. Faz also making the right play and stopping Cart there. So Duplicate Shatter was huge. And we talked about Duplicate a lot from phase 2 in this roster. They haven't necessarily put a lot of results, but I've always felt Duplicate has been probably the most clutch at times.
Oh, and as you say that, Duplicate gonna charge over. It's the tree still totally okay here. Transcend's coming up from Skyfox just to keep Aaron alive. Not a response to grab or otherwise, but they still use it to get onto Duplicate, who's off to the left side, to take down more members of phase 2. Phase 2 now in that dangerous one-fight territory.
They're gonna be dying here on point. I don't know if they'll be able to get the recontest either. There's 3 on point right now for Skyfoxes. They're holding. There's not, you know, tons of ults in the bank. They're still waiting for Clone Man to get back. But the recontest doesn't seem likely. I don't think phase 2 even go for the recontest since they can hold the doors. And they're not going to be doing it. Oh, they are.
Oh, and they lose
and
Duplicate
dead.
immediately. This is not good for phase 2. This is not what you want to do. Even when you, it's a reverse defense and you don't have to worry about the yellow box victory there.
And Faz is dying.
What?
How do they even contest? There's no speed. They're coming back with some ults. It's very likely that Nishik and Olu are going to have to use those portals to get us spawned.
I don't even know if they can touch the point. It's going to be down to Wara. The Graviton keeps them away in phase 2. They stagger themselves to death at the very end. Very weird play from Duplicate and Faz to end that out. And as a result, Skyfox is ending Eichenwald not with a bang, but with a whimper.
A gigantic mistake there from phase 2. Gigantic mistake. When it's that close, I don't think you ever go for the recontest, especially if you lose that fight. It's over because it's a one fight. Once you get through the doors, it's so close you can't risk it. And holding the choke in that scenario is also stronger, I think, than the recontest because you're putting yourself at a disadvantage. So overall, just huge mistake from phase 2 for that recontest.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be one thing if the point was at the end of point B, right, where you lose the game, but they did have a little bit of a buffer zone there. Not much, but not enough to where it was worth throwing your life away to stop point B. You have to refocus and think about what are your win conditions here, what are their win conditions, and what is this likely to help? And I just feel like there had to be some sort of miscommunication or something going on there for phase 2 because the end of that game really did not make a lot of sense.
I mean, the thing is they tried to recontest, Duplicate dies, so they cap point. So Skyfox is cap point. So then they're stuck in this situation where we're down to Reinhardt. We're already committed this deep. Pika was out there. Faz was out there onto the point proper. So then they have to make the choice, do we leave or do we just die on Cardigan? And some people were trying to leave because they weren't all on the point, but Pika was stuck out there. He jumped off the map. Faz gets trapped in as well. But, you know, as they stagger themselves, now it's essentially a loss immediately. There's no way you can touch point.
Well, and the other thing, too, is that Faz being one of the later ones to die there is incredibly bad as well, because who's going to be your taxi back to the fight at that point where, yeah, they were able to grab at the corner, but if they had a little bit of speed, maybe they still get there. Even then, it wasn't going to be that great of a recontest. So Phase 2, having some good moments, showing some decent spots, but overall, making mistakes that you can't make if you want to take an Overwatch series. But that is only one half of gameplay. We still got another half to go. Maybe they can turn it around. We'll find out in just a few minutes.